Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to today's Powerboost. Transcending obstacles. Many people engage in spiritual practices. They want to learn to meditate and research and explore different methods to transcend the temporary, sometimes unhappy, painful, sorrowful world. And I have been asking myself for a long time, and since I'm now on the spiritual practice, spiritual journey, things have become a little bit more clear to me in terms of how do I deal with the different challenges, the different obstacles that come into my life, that show up. And one way is, and this is a very common way for many of us, for different reasons, has a lot to do also with upbringing, culture, and so belief system. We even like to, or we choose to pretend, to deny, to suppress. One reason is also because maybe we don't know exactly how to deal with certain things, certain situations, people. Obstacles that even can arise from within my own self. And typically, when we encounter a situation, circumstances that we don't favor, that it's not in our favor, or we think it's not in our favor, situations, circumstances, people, what they say, how they interact, whether it's at work, at home, at school even, we perceive it in a way that is not something I like. I don't want it. I can even feel threatened by it. Sometimes not necessarily at a conscious level, but subconsciously. And what will show me that I feel threatened, or a belief system that I'm holding feels threatened, that I will react. So one thing is a major aspect, a big aspect that I've been learning in this spiritual journey is that it's very important for us to learn to how my whole perception, how do I perceive people, life, situations, circumstances, and instead of judging it or not liking, not wanting, for many different reasons, we have these tendencies. Like I said earlier, we grew up with many of these tendencies. We inherit them in a way from families and social systems, social norms. But the thing is, the more I don't like something, the more I fear something, the more I can even, hate it, hate someone, how someone is, what someone says. But this is a way that will actually make the situation worse, bigger. It becomes even more so an obstacle in my life. And if we develop an attitude of, for example, learning, if anything, anyone comes into my way, into my life, and I don't want it, I don't like it, I don't appreciate it, maybe I can ask myself, is there something I can learn here? And not automatically just perceive it as something negative. Because in a way, whatever is good or not so good is very relative. and it's actually a judgment. And in different cultures, different things are good, different things are considered bad. So it's very, very relative. Whatever is, whether it's situation, person, it is what it is. And then in addition, if I have the courage to experiment, to consider that maybe there is something for me to learn in that whole situation, it will change everything around. So my attitude then becomes very positive, and the mind starts to engage into a solution. So even though there are unfavorable circumstances or situations, right? Or maybe someone said something or repeatedly and hurting my feelings, disrespectful, or even my own behavior, right? Or the mistakes that we make. What's my attitude towards that? But it's only when there is love expressed in one or another way that we are able to learn, where we are able to see opportunities, find solutions. So whatever you want to change in your life, within yourself or around you, in terms of making it better, having that deep wish, that interest to make things better, then it starts with my own self, how I see, perceive, and how I interact, how I relate. And here I mainly refer to the attitude or attitudes we are holding. So it's very useful, for example, to check in with myself and consciously ask that question, right? In different times of the day, different circumstances, being with different people, or even if not during the day, then I can do that in the evening, retrospective, and find out from myself what are the different kind of attitudes I put out when someone is in front of me, at work or at home, certain things are happening. Maybe I will discover, so we want to check with the self, but not to blame, not to judge, simply to assess. Because maybe I will be surprised and I discover that actually I could have done better. Or maybe I discover that I was very positive, but maybe the person has the habit of taking sorrow, of getting upset, of blaming, right? But it's a matter of discovery, of assessing, taking the time, taking a moment to go within and not only see what others are doing, how they are, what is going on in the world here and there, but what is it actually that's going on in my own mind? Where is my mind? Where are my thoughts connected with? How do I use time and my different physical, even subtle resources? And to actually come to the essence in terms of method also, of what will really allow us to develop a positive attitude towards life, no matter what the situations are, a positive attitude, a beneficial attitude towards my own self, towards people, towards situations at any given time, and no matter what it is. That is possible when I have the courage to actually see myself in a broader way. And we know ourselves from the physical level, but we all know, and I have been speaking, you have been listening to that word of attitude, thoughts, feelings. You know, all of these exist, They are real, but they are not necessarily physical. So we understand that this subtle dimension, the dimension of thoughts, feelings, beliefs, attitudes, intention, is a subtle energy, is a subtle dimension that is very, very important in our lives. And dependent on the thoughts we have, the attitudes we hold, we create experiences in our lives. So what I experience is not so much dependent on the situation or the person, but how I choose to perceive it. Okay, and so if I have a positive vision of myself, if I connect to that subtle dimension of who I am, maybe I can even have the thought that I am a being of peace, a being of love. Why not? Why not experimenting with that whole concept that whenever I started my journey, the essence is good of myself and of everyone else. Maybe not expressed all the time, maybe it's not visible all the time, which is certainly the case. But can I have that, can I take that leap, that quantum leap, and look at myself as a being of goodness? And now I'm returning to that original state of being. And the more we are able to do that, the more we engage in that way of thinking and perceiving the self, we are able to bring out the goodness. Okay, so let us pause here and move into a meditation to explore that whole aspect of transcending difficulties in a more subtle way. So sit relaxed. I become aware of the surrounding I'm in, the room you are in. Notice the light, the brightness, the temperature, maybe even become aware of certain objects in the room. And then we bring the awareness closer to the self. My physical body, feel the support of the chair you're sitting on. And then we become more subtle. We will go deeper within. Focus on your breath. Consciously inhale and then fully exhale. Inhale and then push out the rest, the air from your lungs. And again, I inhale and exhale. And gradually, it appears as if the body is breathing by itself. So who is the one speaking, observing? Who is the one that is fully aware and conscious while seeing my own body? So our mind has the ability to look at itself, to become the observer of my own body, the world around me. And in this subtle dimension, at this level, I'm connecting to my spiritual identity, the self that is completely positive, full of peace, full of love, a gentle being with the determination, inner stability, and strength. If I look at myself in this way, I feel completely secure, light, and free. Everyone is my friend. And foremost, I'm my own best friend. When I look at people, look at situations, many people come into my life, situations, circumstances, but they only come to bring out the best within me. They help me discover my hidden strengths, my hidden potential. They are calling up on my qualities and virtues that I have, but maybe I don't use them as much. I look at life as scenes of learning, moments and scenes where I can contribute to create something very beautiful, something beneficial. I do not have to have the solution for everything, but I always can have good wishes and pure feelings. This will keep my heart clean and clear, happy, and it gives strength to others. Om Shanti.